A very good afternoon, Zimbabwe. Maskarase. My name is Ronald Huekwa Makusha. Welcome to African Beyond Television Network. So let us talk about the issue Yema sanctions, because today is 25 October. Ndipo vanenge vachiita nyaya dzavo dzema anti-sanctions march etc. And toda kutarisa panyaya because they always accuse Advocate Nelson Chamisa he brought these sanctions, he's the person behind these sanctions, and is the problem. That is what they say. And we want to take a look onto this issue carefully. So let us take a look onto 5 facts about the US sanctions in Zimbabwe. So the US sanctions, they largely target the people who engage in corruption, the people who violate human rights, and the people who undermine democratic institutions and processes. Only 141 individuals and companies in a country of 16 million are targeted by the Zimbabwe sanction programs. So this is point number 1. Let us take a look on the issue of corruption. Priska Mfumira was arrested for corruption. Obadiah Moyo arrested for corruption. Rush Kwaya arrested for looting. So many people arrested for corruption and looting. Were they imprisoned? No. Was anything recovered? No. Mugabe confirmed that 15 billion was looted from Zimbabwe, and that 15 billion was revenue from diamonds. Or 15 billion worth diamonds were stolen or looted. This is the minimum amount, 15 billion. It was never accounted for. This is the reason why these people are sanctioned, because they are corrupt. Let us talk about the violation of human rights. Human rights are being violated. Look at Job Sigala. His rights are being violated. Look at the Zimbabweans. The children are supposed to be going to school. Their rights are being violated because they have a right to education. Look at the people who are dying of cancer. They have the right to free health and accessible health, but their rights are being infringed. Who is doing that? These are the leaders of ZANU-PF. Let us talk about the people who are undermining the democratic institutions and the processes. Look at Zimbabwe Electoral Commission. Zimbabwe Electoral Commission is supposed to be independent, democratic, and it should actually work according to the mandate of the people and should deliver the mandate of the people, what people want. But is ZEC doing so? No. It is captured. Look at the commissioners of ZEC. They are all relatives and friends of ZANU-PF leaders. So, if we are to go ahead and look at another issue, you'd see the police. They are being instructed by ZANU-PF people. Look at the judiciary service. They are being controlled and directed by the people from ZANU-PF. These are politicians from ZANU-PF. These are people who are undermining democratic processes in the nation of Zimbabwe, and they cause the issuance of sanctions. So you would see kuti it's not Nelson Chamisa. Nelson Chamisa is nowhere near this issue of sanctions. Let us talk about point number 2. The targeted sanctions do not prohibit trade between the United States and Zimbabwe. US companies are free to invest and sell goods in Zimbabwe. And the embassy is actively promoting trade and investment between the two countries. Targeted sanctions restrict trade and travel for only those who are on the sanction list and entities they own. So, if Zimbabwean leaders believe kuti these sanctions are wrong, if they believe kuti these sanctions are doing whatever they are claiming, ngavangovhara US embassy. But they can't. Why? It's because they do not have any basis to do so. That is the honest truth. Why are they not withdrawing their own embassy in US in protest of whatever they are saying? They can't, because they know very well kuti they are the problem. So ivo chavari kuchemera ndechekuti tiregei tichingoba mari dzedu tinodziviga kuUS, tiregei tichingoba mari dzedu tichiita madhiri edu musiri kutibvunza kuti muri kuzviitirei. But let us talk about sovereignty. Zimbabwe always talks about sovereignty when it comes to land, when it comes to everything Zimbabwean. they talk about sovereignty. But when America says we are not going to do business with you because of human rights violations, because of corruption, because of undermining democratic process, Zimbabwe will leave that jacket of sovereignty. Vadomanikidzira ma-US companies to do business with them. Why? So let us take a look on point number 3. Zidera and targeted sanctions are different. So Zidera aims to restrict US debt relief and voting at international financial institutions, IFIs, and provides a roadmap for engagement. It is important to know, however, that the United States has never invoked Zidera. Zimbabwe does not qualify for new lending consideration because it has failed to make necessary political and economic reforms that would allow IFI boards to consider it for debt relief and new lending. How can you give a country which is looting 15 billion or which looted 15 billion, how can you give them debt? Vanhu vaba 15 billion yanga chitoripo ikabiwa. Vanhu ivavo uya vachiti vanoda chikwereti che100 million kana che1 billion. How can you give such people a debt? Honestly speaking, how? How do you expect 1 billion to be used religiously? Ivo vanhu ivavo vatadza kushandisa 15 billion yavanga vainayo. How many minerals do we have? But they are being mortgaged to the Chinese. That is the honest truth. It is happening and the documents are there, the records are there. So you would see kuti inenge chingori noise chete inenge ichiitwa nawana IMF, World Bank. Who are the people funding IMF and who are the people funding World Bank? Those are the same people who are saying to Zimbabwe, reform so that we can give you debt, but they don't want to reform. So you not say we don't want to reform, but you go to the same people vari kukudzaita vamanadai maita mareforms and say timbotikoretisaiwo mari. Imimi zvikwereti zvacho munozozvidzora sei zvikwereti zvacho imimi muchiluta? There is no economic reform, there is no political reform, which means the chances are so slim kuti munozokwanisa kudzorera mari idzodzo. So let us take a look at point number 4. The sanction list is a living document. So since 2003, the US government has sanctioned more than 130 individuals and 60 companies under the Zimbabwe programs. During this time, it has also removed about 1/3 of the individuals and several of the companies from the list. Individuals on the list may petition for removal, and US persons may apply for licenses to do business with the sanctioned individuals and companies. I have not seen any person petitioning the United States of America through its Senate to say, this is our petition, you have wrongly placed us under sanctions. I have not seen any petition from ZANU-PF people. I have not seen any petition from any company to the US. You are wrongly accused us of ABCD. Why? It's because they know kuti they will be exposed to their criminal activity. These are criminals. These are people who are operating using cartels to loot money. And the worst part is that they loot money from Zimbabwe and they hide it elsewhere. That is the reason why you see there is no functional banking sector in the nation of Zimbabwe, because they destroyed everything. In 2009, they looted. Right now, in 2019, they also looted. They continue to loot. And these are the same people who come and say, Truda Kutima sanctions abviswe, so that they continue to loot. So let us take a look on point number 5. Failed economic policies and corruption, not sanctions, hinder Zimbabwe's economic growth. Billions of dollars have been lost due to decades of corruption and harmful economic policies, which have culminated in the current economic crisis. Zimbabwe is to both prosperous and difficult years during the life of targeted sanctions program. Implementation of economic and political reforms are the key to improve Zimbabwe's trajectory. So what is needed is to make sure that Zimbabwe puts economic reforms. What are the economic reforms? Look at the banking sector. Without a banking sector, an economy will never survive. Look at the issue of how companies are registered. Look at the issue of how mines are given to people, how mining licenses are given to people. Look at the tax regimes in Zimbabwe. Look at everything. the issue of industrialization. They don't care about anything. So these are the people vanenge vachiti masanctions, but corruption ndo iri kuuraya nyika. So if we are to put mari dzakabiwa muno munyika dzikavaka dzimba dzikanotenga dzimba nemaproperties outside Zimbabwe, you would see kuti mari idzodzo dzakawandisa zvekuti dzinogona kurana nyika yeZimbabwe isina kana shortage for decades. But these are the same people vanomhanya vachiti hey, masanctions. Izvezvi zvevaorganizer a march. How much what is the cost of this march? What is the cost of this march? So if you had bought cancer machines, maichii chaiitika in terms of kubatsira vanhu vari kurwara necancer? Because US embassy iripo. Why are you not going to US embassy munogara pasina ambassador weAmerica? Why can't you call the ambassador of America, call all stakeholders, my political parties, my churches, everybody who is interested? Moti ngatigarei pasi timbotaura about this issue of sanctions. Umwe nomwe otaura mafacts ake. Why can't you do that? Instead of you organizing a gala, muchimhanya mustriti muchiita toy toy, why can't you organize nenge yekuti we all sit down totaurirana chokwadi kuti apa ndo pamuri kuba mari, apa ndo pamuri kubhaiza, apa ndo pamuri kuita zvakati? Why can't you give people an opportunity to come and air their grievances regarding the issue of sanctions? Why? So noise yese yamune muchiita muri kuita muri mumastreets, but you're not engaging America, you're not engaging anybody, but munenge muchingotyidzira kurova nekubira maelections. Is that proper? So you'd see kuti this is unfair for you. They will come and accuse other people for zvinhu zvavakanganisa ivo for zvinhu zvavaita. But let us bring change, because we cannot continue with such kind of mentality nekuti everything you just blame masanctions. Simba mukandasama hanzi ndo zimba yachotodii. Okay, hanzi Zim is ours, not for one. Yes, I agree with you. So you'd see kuti President Nelson Chamisa himself does not support sanctions. He doesn't. But should he be quiet? Nyika ichikokotwa, nyika ichibirwa mari. He's always talking about ending corruption. Because the point from Advocate Nelson Chamisa is simple. We have direct control over corruption. Why? Obadiah Moyo ndewedu muno muZimbabwe. Evidence iripo yekuti akaba mari yenyika. Mari yenyika iyoyo kwayakaenda kunozikanwa and inogona kutorwa yodzokera mumakofas enyika. Obadiah Moyo anogona kuvharirwa mujere, tomuisa kuchikurubhi kumunda, oswera ari kumunda achishandira nyika. Tichirikavha zvinhu zvedu zvese zvawakaba. Vaizvikwanisa here kuzviita? No. Priska Mufumira is known. Mari yaakaba is known. And zvese izvozvo can be recovered. Are they doing so to recover those monies? No. Every corrupt person in Zimbabwe is known. And mari kwadzinenge dzichienda dziri kutozikanwa kuti mari dziri kubuda dzakadai. And they can be traced. Mari idzodzo dzinogona kudzorwa munyika. Have they done anything to return mari dzese dziri kubiwa? No. This is what Advocate Nelson Chamisa and the entire opposition is saying. Dzorai kamari dziri kubiwa munyika. But instead yekuti vadzore mari dziri kubiwa munyika, vari kutorwisa vanhu, vari kuti dzorai mari idzodzo dziri kubiwa munyika. Bheu rinopiwa kumbavha, akwitawo inopiwa kumbavha. How many people, vana Samuel Ndenge, they were sentenced, vachipiwa zvimasentences zvisina basa, and they were pardoned by the president. So who is protecting the criminals? Who is protecting the thieves? So I think I have answered this issue yemasanctions yatiri kuitirwa noise nevakomana vachiti hey zvazodai zvikazodai. This is nonsense. Ngavangoisa mareforms and totangira ipapo. Kana vane any problem neissue yemareforms ari kudiwa, ngavadaidze munhu wese togara pasi as a country, togara pasi sevanhu, totsanangurirana kuti apa neapa neapa ndo pamuri kuresva apa, apa muri kuba, pamuri kuba, pamuri kuba, vakaba ngavasungwe. But they will never do that. They will never do that. So this is it, Team Zimbabwe. My name is Ronald Wekwamakusha. My message to the NPF people is stop fingering other people. Mchiti ndiye. You are the problem. Accept your and take responsibility of your actions and corruption, because corruption is killing Zimbabwe. Kushaiwa kuri kuitwa maradiotherapy machine is not a problem yekuti hatina mari. It's a problem yekuti hamusi kuda. It's a problem yekuti muri kuba mari dzacho, you are looting that money. So this is it, Team Zimbabwe. I don't think Advocate Nelson Chamisa vane chekuita nenyaya dzemasanctions. Umwe nomumwe ngaamirire mhosva